Zapier, n8n, two automation giants. One face-off that could change your workflow. On the left, Zapier, the popular plug-and-play solution for automating tasks. And on the right, n8n, the open-source challenger promising unlimited flexibility. We are testing real-world scenarios that matter. Integrations, customization, pricing, ease of use, security, and more. Forget the marketing jargon. Let's break down what these tools actually deliver. Every category gets points, and by the end, you'll know which tool deserves a spot in your stack. You might be surprised by who comes out on top. Let's dive in. So here's our mind map for today. We're going to pit these two against each other on pricing, integration ecosystem, flexibility and customization, open source and hosting, scalability and performance, plus their communities and support. Ready? Let's jump in. Let's talk money pricing. Starting off with Zapier, they do have a free tier, which is nice, and you always know exactly what you're paying for with their plans. But yeah, here's the catch. If you want the fancy, more advanced stuff, be ready to pay up. And pricing goes up the more you use it, so if you get hooked on automations, it can add up fast. Now, n8n does things a bit differently, and honestly, it's kinda cool. If you're self-hosting, it's totally free. No limits on the number of workflows. Their cloud hosting is fairly priced if you don't want to manage servers, but keep in mind, you do need to set things up yourself if you go the free route. We're here, gotta give it to n8n. Free and unlimited if you're willing to go DIY. Integration ecosystem time. Zapier is the king here, over 6,000 built-in integrations, which is kinda wild. Want to hook up a random app? Chances are it's in there, and getting started is honestly a breeze. Downside? If you want to do super custom API connections, it's not always flexible, and the integrations can be shallow for some apps. Now, n8n. Okay, it's more for the tinkerers out there. It does webhooks and lets you run your own code, which is sweet. There's a growing community of plugins, but yeah, it just doesn't have the sheer numbers Zapier does. Plus, you might need to roll up your sleeves to set up new ones. Zapier takes this one. How much can you actually customize? With Zapier, you get simple logic through things like filters and paths, and it's very much about keeping things no-code. That's perfect for, just getting things done. But if you need real power like custom scripts or serious complexity, it's kinda limited. Now with n8n, this is what makes it stand out. You want branding, loops, scripts, even your own custom integrations. You've got all that at your fingertips. The downside? Yeah, it's a bit trickier to learn and the interface can feel a little dense at first. But for flexibility and customization, n8n hands down wins this round. Oh, and here's something cool you probably didn't know. n8n actually stands for no automation because it's all about linking up nodes in your workflows. And their logo? It's literally all about those workflow nodes. Nerdy, but pretty clever. Now, let's get into something deeper: open source and hosting. Zapier is locked down. It's a closed platform, and the only option is to use their cloud, which, don't get me wrong, means you don't have to think about servers or updates. But if you wanted to peek under the hood or write yourself, not happening. On the other hand, n8n is fully open source, which is pretty awesome. You can run it on your own server, locally, or in the cloud, whatever you want. Data stays with you, and you can tweak the platform as much as you need. Downside? You do have to handle the setup and any maintenance yourself. Still, open source and self-hosting? That's a huge win for n8n. How about scalability and performance? With Zapier, on paid tiers especially, it's super reliable and scales with your usage. But, honestly, there are usage limits if you're not shying out for a higher tier, and those API rate limits can be a drag. Flip to n8n. If you're self-hosted, the sky's the limit, as long as your server can handle it. Their cloud plans do have quotas, so not all sunshine and rainbows. But overall, if you're willing to manage things yourself, n8n can scale as big as you want. You know what? Let's call this round a tie, because both have trade-offs depending on how nerdy you want to get. Last but not least, community and support. Zapier, being around for so long, has a massive user base. Support is available 24/7. The docs are top-notch, but you might get better support if you pony up for the higher plans. n8n does have a passionate open-source community, and their documentation is only getting better. But, just a heads up, if you self-host and get stuck, there's no one holding your hand directly. So, for the average user needing reliable help, Zapier wins this one. If you could see a radar chart right now, you'd notice n8n really spikes for flexibility and open source, while Zapier dominates with integration options and support. Each has its strong suits, depending on what's most important to you. So, which should you pick? Zapier is just unbeatable for quick, reliable, super easy automations, especially if you want to connect every app under the sun and never worry about servers or code. But if you're a developer or someone who loves tinkering and wants full power under the hood, n8n is a game changer. Ultimate flexibility, full control, and you can host it anywhere. Honestly, pick what fits your style and how much nerding out you want to do. If this comparison helped you automate more, seriously, hit subscribe so you never miss practical head-to-heads like this.